All this happened when Sri Ma had emerged as the focal point of not only this large family but the larger one of ever increasing throngs of devotees. For the time being, she and Prafulla came to stay with Revati Mohan and his wife Pramoda Devi at Sripur, where he was posted as the station master on the Dhaka Jagannath railway line. Pramoda Devi was pleased with her young sisters-in-law. Prafulla became Mai's second sister to Nirmala because she was the wife of the second brother but a little younger than her. Nirmala now was Sejdi, third sister to Prafulla. This is how Pramoda Devi solved the problem of age and protocol. Moksha Devi, Srima's mother, had been a little nervous about her daughter's ability to cope with the new situation into which she was being pitchforked almost overnight. When she came to Sripur from Khyora, escorted by her father in 1910, she need not have worried. Nirmala proved to be much more than adequate. Just as she was an obedient, happy child, so was she a well behaved, hard working, and sunny tempered young girl. The working hours were long and arduous. Here also she displayed all the qualities which are the ingredients of a happy joint family. She assumed charge of the cooking because everyone preferred hers to Prafulla's or even Pramoda Devi's. There were no misunderstandings about sharing the work or the responsibility. In any case, the children of the house, Kalipada to begin with and later Lavanya and Asu, were also attached to her, and their entire nursing and caretaking devolved on Nirmala automatically. Many stories are extant about her way of life with Revati Mohan and his wife. It is the custom in conservative households for a young woman to keep her face veiled with the border of her sari pulled down over the head in the presence of elders of the new household. Srima had been instructed to do this by her mother before going to Atpara or later to Sripur. Ordinary young women follow this rule in spirit only and raise the veil whenever inconvenienced by it. The elders, however, had reckoned without Srima's way of scrupulous obedience to instructions about deportment. When veiled, Srima could only see a few inches of the ground near her feet. In consequence, her movements were severely restricted. Moreover, such injunctions as fetch that or take it away, etc., had to be explained by description because she did not see the indicative gestures. As earlier in her childhood, this quality of obedience tended to exasperate the elders a little. The irritation tended to indulgence as soon as they realized that the young bride was consistent and sincere in her obedient attitude and that it was not any kind of passive resistance to authority.